Hi, third and fourth grade. I am going to sit at my desk as we go through our history and our health today. Since we don't have any new charts to look at the moment, I can go ahead and sit here. And boy, I'm in my comfy chair. I'm right at home as I'm sitting here. But we're going to go ahead. I need you to get out your history book and your health book so that we can, once we're done with history, we can go right on into health and we'll get all this done with one session. All right, history first. History first. We started our chapter yesterday talking about two brothers. Do you remember the two brothers before you open your book? Do you remember who the two brothers were? Right. Orville and Wilbur Wright. Right. Okay. Little pun on words there. But they were called the Wright brothers, and they were brothers. Were they brothers that fought all the time, or were they brothers that got along with each other? They got along, didn't they? They loved being together. They were like best friends. They did everything together. What did their mother teach them to do when they were very young? Do you remember what we said yesterday or on Friday, I guess? What did their mother teach them? She taught them how to repair things that were broken. And that put such a sense of curiosity in their head. They wanted to know how things work. And if something broke, Mom would say, hey, Orville, come over here. I want you to take this, take it apart, see what happens, see if you can fix it. Or she'd tell Wilbur to do that. And they would look at things and they'd do it together and they would fix things. Sometimes their father was away on trips. Do you remember what their father did as why he wasn't home a lot of the time? He was a circuit riding preacher, wasn't he? And he went on horseback from small place to small town to small village out in the parts that weren't settled greatly, and he would preach the word of God. So he was not at home sometimes, but Mom did a good job in showing them. We talked about on Friday that Wilbur got hurt badly while he was playing ice hockey. Do you remember that? And what did we say that he did? What did he, how did he learn at home? He wasn't able to go to school because of these injuries. How did he learn? Right, he read, didn't he? He loved to read books, and he read and read and learned and learned. And that's how we can learn too, is by reading. We need to read. What began Orville and Wilbur's lifelong partnership? What was the first job they had together as brothers? Right, somebody heard you. They started a printing business, and that was the very first thing that they did. Now, what did they do? What did the Wright brothers do at their bike shop? That was the second thing they did. They had a bike shop. What else did they do besides repairing bicycles? People would bring them in and something would be broken and they would fix it. But you know what else they did? They built their very own bicycles and they sold those. So they are getting into just more and more things. And after this, they come up with a type of plane. And the type of plane they had was called a glider. And a glider is what it says, like when you make a paper airplane and the wind takes it and the air takes it, it glides. It doesn't have a motor that's pushing it, but it glides. And this was the first kind of plane that they made together. And remember, they had to find a perfect place to fly it. They needed the right wind, they needed the right landing conditions. You don't want to land in a group of trees, do you? That could be very difficult. But they found the right place. They even called the Weather Bureau and they said, look, here's what we need. These are the conditions we need. Can you recommend a place? And they recommended Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And that's out on the Outer Banks. And like I said, maybe some of you have been there and visited Kitty Hawk. Well, today, it's a short lesson. I'm on page 363, and we're just going to do one little section today before we go into health. We're going to talk about their very first flight. It was December 14th. Now, they broke the world record with the longest glider flight back in 1902 in October. So a year has passed, and it's December of 1903. And they were perfecting the airplane, and the weather was just right to see if it would fly. So guess what? They flipped a coin. Both wanted to fly it, but they both couldn't do that. So what do we do in here? We pull a stick, don't we? They flipped the coin. Heads up, Wilbur goes. Tails up, Orville goes. To see who got to go. And guess what? Wilbur won. Wilbur won the coin toss, and he was going to get to fly the airplane. Now, his very first attempt, it failed. But they didn't get discouraged, and this was the Wright brothers. They always learned from their mistakes, and they tried to make things better. So the first attempt didn't work. And so they worked on it, and December 17th, 3 days later, in 1903, the Wright Flyer 1 had been repaired, and it was time to try it again. They were ready to go. This time, Orville got to go. Wilbur got to go the first time, and it failed. Second time, Orville gets to go. The plane didn't have wheels like our planes do today. It slid down a ramp to take off. But this time it worked. And Orville was the very first person to successfully pilot an engine-powered airplane. Remember, a year earlier, it was a glider. This one has an engine on, and on page 364, you can see a picture here. It flew for 12 seconds. You say, oh, that's so funny. That's nothing. But you have to understand, nobody had ever done this before. So they flew for 12 seconds. The brothers had given a camera, which was also a new innovation, to a friend. He was so excited, he almost forgot to take the picture of the very first flight. There were 3 more flights that day. Wilbur flew the next one, and he made the longest flight of the day. He was in the air for 59 seconds. That's a big difference from 12. And he went 852 feet, a little longer than 2 football fields. That gives you an idea of how long that flight was. And sadly, there was a big gust of wind that came along, and it took hold of the plane, and it smashed it to pieces that very same day that they were able to do this. Even though the day ended in disappointment, what excitement had been that day, December 17th, 1903. All right, so we're going to stop there. Tomorrow we'll talk about more flights, but that first flight is so important. Remember, it failed, and then Wilbur did it. Orville got to do it, and Wilbur's failed. Orville's went 12 seconds. Then Wilbur got to do it again, and he went the longest. He went for 59 seconds, and he went 282 feet. So we'll learn more about that. I want you to take out your health books. Okay, your health book should be nearby, page 36. We're going to talk about the different vitamins that our body needs. As we're eating different foods, they contain different things. Remember, vitamins are so important to our body. And vitamins are in our foods, and vitamin A is the one we're going to talk about first. It comes from animals. Vitamin A comes from animals. And if you like to eat liver, salmon, which is fish, trout, which is fish, cheddar cheese, there we go, egg yolks, do you like to have a dippy egg in the morning? Okay, good vitamin A in egg yolks, and butter. Dark green vegetables, deep yellow or orange fruits and vegetables, all contain a nutrient that your body needs, and it's vitamin A. Vitamin A. In addition to vitamin A that you get from animal foods, you need to at least 1 dark green vegetable, 1 deep yellow or orange vegetable, and 1 deep yellow fruit at 2 different meals. Good choices could be carrots, spinach, oranges, bell peppers. When you do not get enough vitamin A, your hair, it becomes very dry and it doesn't shine. Your skin becomes dry and bumpy and itchy. Your eyes may hurt when the bright light comes on. You might have trouble seeing at night. And these could all be that you're not taking in enough vitamin A. vitamin A. And they give you a list here on this page. Down at the bottom, circle the foods that contain vitamin A. That first one is like salmon. That's a good one. Do you see another one? Somebody said eggs. How about another one? Yeah, the cheese, the green leafy vegetable, and then the cantaloupe, the orange cantaloupe. These are all good sources of vitamin A. On page 37, the B vitamins. There are 8 different B vitamins. The B vitamins all work together, and they are needed by every part of your body. And you can see their names at the bottom of the page. Our B is kind of throwing them around. B1, B2, B5, B3, B6, B9, B7, and B12. They all have numbers after them, but these are the B vitamins. We don't store B vitamin in our body very well. So you need to eat foods every day that contain the B vitamins. Milk, meat, whole grain breads, cereals, nuts, they all have the B vitamin in them. So all these good things contain vitamins. You already know enough about vitamin A. It's going to cause your eyes to hurt. If you don't have enough vitamin B in your body, it can cause the same problems. If your scalp up here and your eyebrows are very scaly and dry, and you always feel tired, and if your growth is slow, you may be lacking some of these B vitamins. They give you a whole list on page 37 of B vitamins, the things that they do. Turn over the page, vitamin C. We hear about vitamin C, don't we? For weeks at a time, sailors at sea used to eat only salted meats and dry biscuits. And some sailors had sores in their mouths and their gums and other sores that would not heal. And the problem was they did not have any vitamin C in their body. And many of them died from a disease, and the disease was called scurvy. Now, toward the end of the 1400s, scurvy became the main cause of death for sailors if they were on a long sea voyage. Vasco da Gama, an explorer from Portugal, he sailed around Africa to go to India. He started with 4 ships and 160 men. When he returned home 2 years later, there were only 60 men left. 100 men had died from scurvy. And it wasn't until the 1700s that a cure for scurvy was found. Dr. James Lind, a doctor in the British Royal Navy, he became concerned about the sailors and how they were dying. And in wartime, England lost more sailors from scurvy than they lost to their enemies. So they found, he finally found a sea captain who always returned from voyages, and this sea captain always had healthy men. And he went to these men and he said, "Why are your men healthy? And other captains are coming back and their men are dying." He said, "I fed them lemon juice along with the salted meat and the dry biscuits." Well, then Dr. Lind said, "Oh, we need to do some experiments here." And he discovered scurvy was caused from a lack of fresh fruits and vegetables. And he proved that it could be prevented and cured if you ate citrus fruits, oranges, lemons, grapefruit, all these things. However, it was over 40 years before citrus fruits were ever given to the British soldiers. Dr. Lind discovered in the 18th century that scurvy could be prevented and cured, but it was not until the 20th century, nearly 200 years later, that vitamin C became known as the cure. Foods containing the most vitamin C are your citrus fruits, your oranges, your grapefruits, your lemons, your limes, and the juices that you get from them, orange juice. Okay, so maybe you don't like to eat an orange, but drink a glass of orange juice. It contains vitamin C. You can also get it in strawberries and cantaloupe and broccoli and green peppers, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, green leafy vegetables, raw, and you can get it all in these. Because vitamin C is easily destroyed during the cooking process, raw fruits and vegetables contain more vitamin C than canned, cooked, or frozen if you eat them fresh. Okay, eat them raw. Do you have any bruises on your arms or legs? Do you bruise easily? If you do, you may need some more vitamin C in your body. Do your gums bleed when you brush your teeth? Healthy gums do not bleed. Sufficient vitamin C, vitamin A, and vitamin B will keep your gums healthy, and a lack may cause you injuries. And then over on page 40, this is our last page. We're not going to color in our book, but down at the bottom, let's see, vitamin A, B, and C. Number 1, helps the nervous system function properly. That's B vitamins. Found in citrus fruits. C, vitamin C, helps you see well even at night. That's A, letter C. Helps you change food into energy. The B vitamins do that. And found in foods that come from animals. That's the A vitamins. All right, so we'll continue tomorrow talking about some of these vitamins. But these are all good for you, and you can find them in the foods that you eat. You just have to eat the right foods. All right, guys, we're going to have a great day today. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.